I think she just actually lost her connection.
Okay,
You want to start with Dave? Oh,
I would love to start with Dave. So right now I'd like to actually introduce Dave C., who will be sharing his experience regarding Tradition 7.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dave. I'm alcoholic. Grateful to be here. Was asked to. I'm actually going to share a little bit about Tradition 5. It was said to be a 5-minute vignette. I had to look up the word vignette, which is a brief of avocation, description, account, or episode. So I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and keep it very brief. So my understanding in Tradition 5, it asks us, it restricts the AA group to a single purpose, which is carrying our message to other alcoholics. And my experience with that was, it took me 9 years to get sober. From 2002 to 2011, I was in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I saw lots and lots of different meetings. But I didn't know that there was a way out. I didn't know that there was a solution. I was sitting in those meetings. I would come late, I would leave early, and I wasn't ready to hear the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. So when I got to California in 2011, I found a home group, Primary Purpose, in Dublin, California, and it met on Thursday nights at the time in 2011 when I got sober. And I met, all those members of the home group. They got me involved, and, they really showed me what it was like to carry the message and, to get into service, but really to carry a strong message to new alcoholics like myself. And something that happened early on at Primary Purpose is we moved from Thursday nights to Monday nights. And so it created this unique experience where, all these home group members didn't have a meeting to go to on Thursday nights. And so I was trying out some different meetings in the area. I was newly sober at the time. And, I was at a Thursday meeting. It was called Room to Grow in Danville, California. And a bunch of home group members came in. It was, as I remember it, Debbie D and Carol H, Anna A, and Leslie H. And they were at that meeting because I believe Debbie was speaking that night. And, they informed me that they had formed a group. It was called the Traveling Tootsies. And they were going around to a different meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous in Contra Costa County. There was about 30 meetings in total that met after 5 o'clock on Thursdays. And they invited me to be a member of that group. And they said, well, you don't have to be a Tootsie, you can be a Totsie. And so I became a traveling Totsie. And we went to meetings, roughly 30 meetings over the next, 30 weeks or so. And we drove all over the Bay Area. We went from Byron to Richmond. We even did some road trips down to the peninsula, as I remember it. And what this allowed me to do is a pretty new, I was about a year sober. As I remember it in Debbie's car, it was always by order of sobriety length. And so I was never in the passenger seat. I was almost always in the middle seat in the back because everyone else had been sober for a lot longer than I did. And it was just a really magical experience to get to go to all these different groups, book studies and speaker discussions and big groups and small groups, and get a chance to see how they met new people to the group or visitors. We showed up at some meetings that, weren't even in existence again, and we got to update the directory and things. So it was a special experience that really formed my sobriety. And one of the most magical things were the rides to the meeting, the meeting before the meeting. I was a year sober. I was riding with people who were, 35 years sober and plus, and we just had conversations. And I was looking at, the checklist before I shared today, and it says, one of the things on there is, do I remember that AA old timers too can be alcoholics who still suffer? Do I try both to help them and to learn from them? And I'll tell you, I think I did an awful lot more learning than helping, but it was just sure fun to travel all over the Bay Area, see how all these different groups carry the message to new alcoholics. And what I want to leave you with is, it reminds me that my duty as a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous is to get out and carry the message to newcomers. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Dave. It was time to spare. That was impressive. All right. I would now like to introduce Julie H., who will share her experience regarding Tradition 11 and Concept 4, hopefully.
I just saw her video.
Did she freeze again?
She may have, Julie, are you there?
Oh, she's entering back in the room.
Ah. Okay,
There she is. Here she comes.
and let me unmute her. There we go.
Hi, Julie Alcoholic. Currently am you guys on my phone because my computer just froze again. But you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow of today. Apparently that was supposed to happen. So let me qualify. Hi, my name is Julie and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is 9/7/17. I have a sponsor who also has a sponsor who comes from long. Oops, can you hear me on both? I muted my computer. Who comes from a long line of strong, sober women that I look up to. And I also have a service sponsor that I started working the 12 steps with. Excuse me, the 12 concepts with. My home group is called GNL. It is based out of Portland, Oregon. I have a service position at my home group, and I also have a commitment as co-chair of a subcommittee for Portland area intergroup. This subcommittee is called the New Media Committee. It's relatively new, and our mission statement is Portland area intergroup social media committee embraces technological change to carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic and increase communication in our diverse fellowship. And on this journey, I have really delved into the 12 traditions. And while I have gone through them before with my sponsor, being on part of this committee has really opened my eyes and brought them to life. I have been able to have practical application with the tradition, specifically Tradition 11, which states our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity, press, radio, and films. And we added to this tradition for our purposes, anonymity at the level of social media. And I never realized how many ways online anonymity can be broken. It's actually pretty easy, and just how important it is to maintain personal anonymity at all of these levels. As co-chair of this committee, I've been in contact with the York, who informed me that we're actually the first in our group to start an Instagram account. They give a lot of helpful suggestions that were really good guides to maintaining the spiritual principle of anonymity. And in addition to being in contact with GSO, the New Media Committee has been in contact with the area public information chair from Portland area intergroup, and also the general service reps for our area.
Katie, I think you froze on your phone. You there? Or Julie, sorry.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Apparently my internet doesn't like me very much today. But that's all right. We'll try and get through this 5-minute spiel. One thing I've really learned on this journey so far is that Tradition 11 isn't meant to limit AA from spreading the message, but rather it's actually the opposite. It protects the message so that we can carry it. And in Tradition 11, in the 12 Traditions Illustrated, it says, "We are not a secret society. We carry the message wherever we can." This tradition protects the message of AA so it can be limitlessly carried to the still suffering alcoholic while not overshadowed by individual ego. And by maintaining personal anonymity at the level of social media, we're able to spread the idea of AA without making it about us. In this committee, we're not self-appointed spokespersons for AA. We're just a group of alcoholics that were lucky enough to hear the message from other recovering alcoholics. And we want to pass on what was really given to us in our own way. And this message that was given to us is a message of freedom from the bondage of alcohol and self, and the possibility of a happy, joyous, and free life, which I never thought possible before. And this is the message that we really hope to convey through the Instagram posts. We hope potential newcomers can see this message shine through and find it attractive. And starting this account not only highlighted for me the importance of the spiritual tradition of anonymity, but also of concept 4 from the 12 concepts of world service, which says that we maintain a traditional right of participation, allowing voting representation. When the idea for reaching more still suffering alcoholics from younger generations through social media platforms, similarly to how the Public Information Committee does with newspapers, was born, it was brand new territory for Intergroup. There were no guidelines or steps on how to proceed. So every step from formulating the idea for the new media committee to readjusting the intergroup budget to add this subcommittee as a new line item, to picking the social media platform we proceed with, was presented to the intergroup body and voted upon. And since I'm still working through the concepts with my service sponsor, I only wanted to briefly touch on that. I do, however, look forward to continuing my journey of learning the concepts so I can have a better understanding of the AA service structure and my part in it. And thank you so much for bearing with all the technical difficulties and for letting me be of service today and for keeping me sober just for today. Thank you so much.
Good job, Julie. Way to hang in there. Way to persevere, girl. And now, please help me welcome our next speaker, Katie H. from the Folsom Big Book Group in Folsom.